And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Sports Analyst Podcast. We are decked out today. Boy, do we have so much to talk about. Jessa, it is Tuesday. Have you recovered from Saturday?
I moved on pretty quick. I think we were just talking about this, but as soon as the clock was zeros, actually no, as soon as that game was over, I stopped stressing about Arizona and then started stressing about Utah or restarted stressing about Utah.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good way to put it.
yeah, like when I remembered we were going to talk about the Arizona game, I kind of had to go back and be like, "Oh, we played a game last weekend." Shoot.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, but it was epic. I don't know if epic actually is the right word, but how are you feeling?
Epic. A definition of epic is very long. And I think that does define that game. Does it
Yeah,
not?
for sure, for sure. What, 6 to midnight or something? 6 to 11:30 with the
Oh
rain
my
delay and
gosh.
everything?
Yeah, or if you're, out here on the East Coast like me, Eli, and Terrell were, it was 8 p.m. till I the game was over at like 1:45. Like it
Holy.
it felt like it was just so late. Anyway, I don't even know where to start, Jess. I think I'm just gonna say this. Today we're doing a meg episode, or a megasode, however you would like to do that there. Due to the Falcons' massive dub last night against the Buffalo Bills, rise up, baby. We put the clamps on Mr. Josh and Haley Steinfeld. And the magnitude of the BYU game this weekend. We are just doing one episode this week. It is the Holy War special. Uh, I'm just going to be honest. I don't have the bandwidth after this weekend, Monday Night Football, and then immediately having to turn the page to Utah. Like every single waking second of my life right now is just worrying about this weekend with the BYU Utah game. Like literally, that's all I have space for. No relaxing, no reading books, no like time for myself. I can't even work out without having my blood pressure rise too high because I'm just thinking about this weekend. I don't know if you're the same way. I'm sure you are.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I feel differently about it every time I think about it, and we'll get into it. But I was gonna ask you something about Monday Night Football before we got into it. Did you so BYU game against Arizona gets over at like
Yep.
what, 2 o'clock your time, right? Were you up
Yeah, well,
early for?
so so to be fair, the game ends very late, and me and Elliot listened to the entire post game while
Ah,
playing Battlefield 6.
yeah,
Terrell had to clock out. We love you, Terrell. Couldn't hang that night. He hung with us the other night though. But and then we slept in. And then we stayed
nice.
up on Sunday night playing Battlefield 6 as well all night long.
Yeah, because
So,
that came out over the weekend, right?
yes, as we'll get into in the Arizona game breakdown, it was a coping mechanism at one
Yeah,
point.
yeah. Let's go through it. So BYU goes to Arizona. Arizona, we talked about it last week, got a stifling defense, right? Really good defense. BYU's biggest test yet. And also to add some flavor, some spice, monsoon warning in
Oh yeah.
Mexico. So, hurricane warning, kinda. So there were talks about, is the game gonna get moved? Is it gonna get canceled? Not canceled. Maybe it should have been moved up a couple hours now that we look at it, but
Right.
rain delay, and then it goes into two overtimes. Um, Give me your general impressions. Like, what did we see from BYU? Did you learn anything new? Like, what did you kind of take away from that game?
My biggest takeaway is that I am learning more about the team every week, and I think I my expectations for the team are rising every week, even though our performance is going down every week. It's so weird. Like we saw in this game that BYU is incredibly resilient. They never fight or they never like stop fighting. They'll fight until the very last second. They'll, do everything wrong in the second and third quarters and most of the fourth quarter, but then they'll go on that massive drive, kick a field goal, get a three and out, and then go on another big drive to push the game into overtime. Overtime was a whole nother story. They did just literally barely enough to win. They did the bare minimum. But the fact that they even did that after going up 14-0 or whatever it was, having a huge rain delay, and then giving up 24 straight, and then fighting back, like, I learned that this team is in every single game. Doesn't matter what the score is, this team is going to be alive. But we look worse and worse each week, so I don't really know how to feel about it.
Yeah, as far as the execution goes, we struggle. Like we struggle to I was doing a lot of stat research today, but there's a difference between talented teams and then talented teams who actually like play to their potential and
Right?
actually
Alabama,
yeah.
Nick Saban, Alabama versus like Texas A&M.
That's a great example. And honestly, when it comes, I don't know what it comes down to, but can you get Chase Roberts to play like Chase Roberts? Can you get LJ to play like LJ, who did, right? Can you put players in the best position to be successful? And I don't know what it is. Maybe we don't have the talent I think we do, but I think we are a way better team than what we've seen the last 2 weeks, and I'm just wondering what it is. And I'm sure our coaches are thinking the same thing of like, we are so much better than this, and we're winning, right? But we're winning with
Yeah.
just so many mistakes, like five
Right?
turnovers over the last 2 games after not having any the first four.
Right? And it's so weird. It's like we're learning more about the intangibles almost. Like the team has more intangibles than I feel like a BYU team has had in the last like 5 years, right? The willingness to come back in the ball game when they were down against Colorado with the slow start, overcoming like horrible defensive performance in the first half of that game, and then the fighting back after going down 24-0. Like the intangibles of this team, I have more faith in that than I ever do. But like you said, the on-field execution almost feels like it's getting worse at times. Like that middle half of this game was horrible. It was so painful that me and Eli and Terrell turned it off the big screen. We turned on Battlefield 6 and literally only had it on my phone playing the radio call. And we are all listening to our headsets in one ear and listening to the radio in the other ear. That's how bad it was because we were losing our minds. And it's like way past quiet hours at my apartment complex. So we're like, you know what? We are just gonna game and listen to this because it was so bad. And then eventually, towards the end, we put it on the laptop, and then like by the last like 4 minutes of the game, we were all like just taking L after L in the game because we're just huddled around the little laptop. Um, I really don't know what to think. Like kind of like you said, first impressions. My impression is we won. Like that's kind of it.
Yep, we did enough to win. Um, I'm gonna talk about with the Holy War coming up, it's important that I remove myself emotionally in some ways, and really just pull it back to the bare bones of like, what do we need to do? What are the outputs on the field in order to win? And I
Mhm.
have a clear picture at this point of like what
Okay.
needs to happen. So if the third quarter runs around and we're not there, then you can kind of know, all right, our likelihood of making up what we've done so far is pretty low, so we're probably gonna lose.
Hmm.
Like it's just a fact of the matter. And then in Arizona, right, I think we had a 7% chance of winning at the end of the third quarter, and we hadn't done like, for example, we hadn't stopped them in the red zone or outside the red zone. I don't even know if they scored a touchdown in the red zone. I think it was a 32-yard run, and then two long passes. Like, so anyways, we allow three explosive play touchdowns and you're down 10 at the end of the third, you're probably not going to win the game. You probably got to do something extraordinary, right? Take the
Right.
emotion out of it. Like that is the fact of the matter that BYU, they had to force Arizona to only have 3 plays in the last 11 minutes and they did it. Like that's
Right.
crazy. So, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of crazy, and I'm with you that with all the post game interviews, everybody was like, "It's the culture, it's the BYU culture, it's the culture Kalani has built," and that is, I think, why we were able to come back and show some grit. That alone, right there. But we got to figure out the execution stuff. We shouldn't be in these situations.
Right. And I'm totally with you. Like it's great that the culture is why we won, but I don't know if that's sustainable. Like I we said it all last year, like this isn't sustainable, and eventually it wasn't. We got down too much to Arizona State, lost, and then we let that turn into two losses against Kansas, which lack of culture in that one. Um, I think I keep saying after every win, like, this is not sustainable. We can't do this against good teams. But like the last 3 weeks, I mean, West Virginia was a kind of a different story, but Colorado and this game, like, we have been able to do it. I don't know if we can keep doing it though, and that's the problem. And I, I I
Against
don't really
Utah,
know what else
against Utah, we cannot. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you
exactly.
right
And so I
now, we're
don't
not
really
going to be
know
able
what
to.
to. I don't know what to take away from this game, really. Besides, like, that's great that we did that, but do I ever want to be in that position again? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I'm good with no double overtimes. I'm okay. Unless we're like a major underdog and it was like a
Yes.
playoff game, right? Or like a conference championship, fine. But as a favored team, never take me to two overtimes again. Don't
Right. And
don't do it.
and I think it is different because of the two because this game was kind of like a three game like Greg
Yeah,
said it on the radio after the game. This was like three games in one, right? There was the pre the like there was the first quarter basically pre-delay, and then there was the post-delay for like 2.5 quarters of just absolute like shite, and then there was the fourth quarter and overtimes where BYU all of a sudden woke back up and did enough to win, right? And I think if we went to double overtime and won the way that we did, and this game had been back and forth the entire game, I think we feel like very different, right? I think we are feeling like, oh my gosh, we did it. Like, this is awesome. The culture is great. I can't believe we stuck with it all the way to the end. But it was the fact that we showed we were the much better team in one quarter and then came out and completely like dog slopped our way through the second and third quarter. I feel like for me, that's what made it so like hard to watch is that we had shown that we could compete, that we were so much better than this team. And then we come out and don't do any of that for 2.5 quarters.
totally just beat ourselves for two and a half
Right.
quarters.
Right.
100%. It was giving up third and longs. I'm just now realizing as we talked, as I said it before, we gave up three explosive, at least 15 plus yard touchdowns. Like, that's not a Jay Hill defense. What in the world?
Right?
And he said on coordinator's corner that he wasn't very happy about it. But I 100% agree with you.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you be? I would be concerned. Um, yeah, a tale of three games. We won two of them, luckily, right? The first
Yep.
quarter, the last quarter. And did when Jay Hill said it in coordinator's corner, we made one more play than they did. And that's really literally what it came
Honestly,
down to.
it really is. And I'm glad that we did make that play. I just because of that first quarter, I don't think that it should have ever come down to that.
Yeah.
That's I I guess my kind of last question as we kind of not move on, but kind of transform this conversation. When you're watching this game and it goes the way that it does, is this some sort of game that we can flush and just say huge rain delay, one off, just put it behind you? Because I know that that can be a sentiment, right? Is like, oh, if you're playing a game and some guy like, you know, it looks like he broke his neck and they have to cart him off, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, like DeMar Hamlin situation. Like the rest of the game, you can't really count. So does this fall under that kind of a like, oh, because of the huge weather delay, this is not for either team very indicative of their play as a whole? Or do you think the weather delay didn't matter? This is kind of what BYU is at this point. Does that make sense what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah. I think the weather delay did have an effect. I think if the weather delay doesn't happen, I find it very hard to believe. And this is the hypotheticals. I'll put my hand up and admit, like this is hypothetical, right? I don't see Arizona going on a 24-0 run. For whatever reason, we are such an emotional team that I think after we go up and our offense looks really, really good, and then you put them in the locker room like, you don't know, maybe that gave A-Rod a minute to be like, let's switch some things up and do some things they'll never say. Here's the other thing I'll say. The rain delay and the stupid fake punt.
Oh,
That's when the game changed. Right there.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we are such a momentum-driven team, right? We need reasons,
Yep.
whether it's coming back from a deficit or riding momentum. Like, we need something to motivate us. And you give Arizona the ball at our own 58 or 48 yard line. Like that was a game changer in the game as well. To answer your question, I don't know if it's necessarily a wash, but I do think that it had an impact on the game, but I mean, that's part of the game. Like,
Right.
the
Right.
weather is
You
part is college football.
exactly. Right. You can't discount it. I think for me, I'm part of me wants to write it off as the weather delay game, but I think you're right. I think if the weather delay doesn't happen, I don't think we necessarily blow Arizona out, but I think we probably win by like 10, 14, maybe
Yeah,
even 17 points, and it's
yeah,
like 37-21,
yep,
right? And it's like Arizona was never out of it, but BYU was never really like in threat of losing.
yeah.
Um, Either way, we got the win, and that's what matters. The chat was popping off.
Oh
This
yeah,
was an epic day in sports analysts. I mean, the whole day of college football was absolutely spectacular. But then to finish it off with this game, I mean, we got some bangers. Let's go through some of the highlights from the chat, Jess.
yeah. We'll just rapid fire. Okay. This was maybe the text of the night for me.
I
Oh,
think so.
great and terrible football gods, accept ye this game as an offering for the Utah game. And I think that was before the game, so that was before we even know anything. Oh man,
That was so perfect.
so
And I was
good.
reading through these texts, and like way later in the game, somebody was like, "Who made a deal with the devil?" when BYU was like making a comeback. And Amelia like quote tweeted it herself basically and was like, we all did.
Yeah, we agreed, guys. We all forgot for the 6 hours,
We
but we
all
agreed we were going to sacrifice that game. Okay, it went exactly as
exactly.
planned. But Bear
Guys,
had different ideas.
we
Yeah,
sacrificed the game and still won, okay?
yeah.
So we should be praising hallelujah, okay?
Yep.
All right. Jessa, this one was from you. This was amazing. There were unspeakable things said in this household when Jaden Dunlap was on the field and gave up that touchdown.
And just stopped running.
Was that was horrible. Yeah. Let's just say it's a good thing that. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Jesse, you summed it up perfectly. You said public enemy number one until further notice. Shove him in a locker until the game is over. If we didn't do that, we lose that game. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he's has a promising future. That future is not today. You are not ready, son. Not ready. Not yet. You may be in the future. There's hope, but not now.
Yeah, that play was bizarre. Like he's full sprinting, and then I don't know if Tanner Wall like yells ball at him or something. Like someone just says pass coming your way. I don't know what you yell at corners, but he just stops running and turns around. Like in what in what world? I haven't seen high school DBs do that. Like I
Right?
feel so bad for him as someone who has to rewatch that play, but at the same time, he does not see the field the rest of the season, please.
No.
Okay.
What?
Uh, yeah,
What in the
so bad.
hell was he thinking? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. This one's a good one from Kylie. We quoted this several times because the worm, PK, had a really good game. She says, I
he
think the
did.
worm turned into a butterfly. So good. So
That's
good.
not
That he
exactly
did.
how it works, Kylie, but it's true.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh yeah, the worm like iconography has become like it's just incredible. Everyone knows him as the worm now.
Yep.
All from
Yep.
that text back where Jacob would, what did he say? Go back to your hole, worm.
Then why is the worm returning punts again? Go back to your hole, worm.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
So good.
I could have pulled about 50 different texts from the roughing the passer penalty. That was a dark time. That was a
Yeah.
very dark time.
I think maybe the worst call I've ever seen at a BYU game. It's up there with the Kai Nakua
Yep,
targeting. It's up there
yep.
with some
And
of the worst.
and that was like like Kalani absolutely lost it. That man
That's
was
when you know it's
just
bad.
seeing he was gone. He was not there. That was
Yeah,
a different person.
that was bad.
Yeah, that was blatant and horrible, and those refs should never ref another game ever.
Yeah.
And now that I say that, they're probably going to ref this weekend's game.
Yep, probably. And I'm just waiting to see what the controversial call is going to be this year because there
Oh
always is
yes.
one. There always is one. Gosh. Nat says he was there. Shout out Matt for being boots on the
Shout
ground.
out Matt.
Yeah, giving us all the updates. We knew there were
Oh
70
yeah.
to 30 BYU fans there after the rain delay because of that. It's crazy. He says, I'm shaking with yelling headache. Good diagnosis. BYU fans are seriously riled up. As they should have been.
Good.
I'm so
As
glad.
they should be.
I'm so glad.
I love that diagnosis with yelling headache. I
Yep.
think we've all experienced that.
Yep.
Um,
Get ready
just
for
make sure
one
you
this weekend.
yes. Okay, I just had to take a screenshot of this one because this was too funny. Um, I'll just go through. There's like five of them. Uh, Jacob says watching this game should be considered emotional self-harm. I think this is Stephen Roundy on my computer. I don't have all the things
Yep, I
saved,
think
but
so.
Stephen says, "Darn that fake punt," and literally everyone like emphasized that. Matt goes, "Never throw late down the middle." Jacob, this game is so cursed. Jessa, I would kill for another bye week. Jackson, or another FCS opponent. This was obviously during the 24-0 run at some point
Yeah.
in the game.
In fact, I think it was after Bear threw his really great interception
Oh,
when he like fumbled the snap and
really great interception.
yeah, it was good. Good job, Bear. Ugh, that's okay.
Yeah, not the
I
best.
yeah, I will forever love him. I need you to read these next ones from Jacob because
Oh
I
yeah,
need you to
Jacob.
give your theatrical effect to it, you know.
Jacob. As we know, Jacob does not. He has no filter. He does not hold back
He's gonna tell you
whatsoever.
how he feels.
He does, and he did when Arizona scored. I don't even know which touchdown it was. Maybe their last one,
I think it was
their
the running
last
one where we
touchdown
missed
before
like three
overtime.
tackles. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes weak ass clown bounces, boing 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 touchdown. And then followed the next drive with Aaron Roderick needs to be deported, which there were a lot of A-Rod moments in this game. It was
There
a
were.
tough one, a very, very tough one for him.
It almost
We
looked
won
like
though.
yeah, we did win. We made one more play. It almost looked like he and Bear were like at battle. Like Bear was really trying to make something happen, but then you have A-Rod who calls a conservative game, you know? I
Yeah,
don't know. Crazy. I missed this one, but she said someone is a little stressed and sends a picture of Jackson on all fours covering his face.
Jackson is on both knees, elbows on the ground, hands over his face like this, staring at the screen, and Em just says, "Someone is a little stressed." Jackson literally looked like a dog or like a rock, just like curled up in a ball. And literally, same, bro. Same.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
a stressful football game.
He was all of us in that
Um,
moment.
Speaking of Jackson, I love this one where we go to overtime and Ty says, "Free football!" And Jackson goes, "My mental health would argue that this is most definitely not free football.
The best. And I
There is
think
a cost."
yes, and I think Steven piped in and said insurance companies should ask if you smoke or are a BYU fan. So good.
Every time we watch a game, we're just knocking years off our life, just
Seriously.
careening them away.
Oh gosh. Yep. Jackson says later, if we lose on this kick, I am moving to Louisiana and becoming a cocaine addict. I think it was Will Ferrens in first overtime. So funny.
Will, you did more than push us to second overtime. You did a great thing
Yep.
for
Yep.
Jackson and Amelia and
What's up
Arlo.
with
That was a
Will?
great thing.
Do we think
Dude,
I have a theory. I think that it's Harrison
I want your
Grimes or
theory.
Garrison Grimes. I think it's our long
The
snapper.
snapper?
Yeah. I
Mmm.
think that there are several times where our punter holder is like going outside the frame of his body to catch these, and I think the holds are getting all messed up. Maybe that's me being delusional because Will Farron can't do anything wrong, or maybe he's just missing kicks, you know. Maybe he's just missing kicks. I don't know.
Yeah. Jessa, you need to read this next one. I totally agree with it, but I need you to explain to the listeners what you meant when you said this.
Oh, I said we did not deserve that. Was it the win?
This was yes.
Oh, okay. I forgot sending it, but I still agree.
I mean, you were spot on.
I
No
still agree.
context. Was it the win?
We didn't deserve any of it. Any of it. I thought we play. It's exactly what we talked about. We did not play well enough. to like win that game. We just made one more play than Arizona did.
Yep,
That's
one
all.
less mistake.
Yep, seriously. All right, take us home. This
Uh,
one might be the
this
catch for the night. Never mind.
this one had all three of us crying laughing. Jacob, this is post game when it was like there was maybe like three texts about the win, maybe, and
Yeah.
one of them was we did not deserve that. Immediately, everyone starts talking about the Utah game,
Yeah.
and Jacob just right off the rip. 10-6 loss to Utah at home is going to hit like a thorny wooden spatula on a chapped raw butt cheek.
10 to
So
6.
good.
It's
So
so
good. I
real
mean, we were
though.
talking because our offense is absolutely potatoes, and Utah like threw the ball 10 times against Arizona State. So this is going to be a 90-minute game, running clock, maybe six first downs between the two teams, and someone's going to win on a field goal.
Yep. Yep. If that. Maybe they went on a safety. I think it's going to be like a safety, a punt return, you know. At least for us. Offense, Utah's offense will probably score. That's a good segue, actually, into
It is.
I can't believe we're talking about it, and I can't believe we're here.
I
Like the
know.
emotional, I know it's unhealthy because I have a hard time describing it, but like the emotional weight that I carry this week leading up to it is is pretty hard to describe, and I think maybe we're all feeling that this is a big deal. Not only are we playing Utah on Saturday, right? We're both ranked. We're in the same conference. We're number 2 and 3 in said conference, 2 and 4 in said conference. Whoever wins this game by the national media is going to be projected to battle Texas Tech for the Big 12. And I just hate Utah. There's
What?
just there's so many things leading into this week. So where do we start, Jared, with this game? Talking about this game, previewing this game. Where do you want to start?
I don't even know. I think it's right. I think it might be right there. Just coming into this, like I was unfamiliar with how uncomfortable I was going to be this entire week. It it's just something deep down inside. I hate Utah and I root against them every single week. I hope all their players are injured and I hope they lose every single game. But when it turns to the BYU versus Utah week, it's like all of that hatred that I carry with me all of a sudden starts to like squeeze my innards. And I like it's like I can't breathe, my blood pressure rises. I like have a short fuse. Every little sound like annoys me. Like every single thing I see, if it's a red thing, I think of Utah. If it's a blue thing, I think of Utah. Like if it's a football, I think of Utah. Like they say like, oh, we're living rent free in your head. No, is it's absolutely true, okay? I don't know if it's rent free. I do charge a lot of rent for you to be in there, okay? But
But they
it,
pay it.
it is, they do. I mean, Mark Harlan, that check will just cash forever. Oh my gosh. The emotions that come with this game, I can't even begin to explain where they're from. It's from my childhood, from growing up in frickin' redneck Riverton and growing up next to all the Utah fans and just the chatter at church and at school and everything. Like I hate Utah. It's Max Hall. I hate them. I hate everything about them. There's no redeeming quality of the University of Utah in my mind. None. Zero. Zilch. I want to beat them. I would rather get syphilis than lose to Utah. And my face is turning red. I need to calm down because we need to keep it all blue here. Um, Jess, I'm just going to pass the talking stick to you for a second. This is a tough week.
It truly and I hope no Utah fans are listening to this because genuinely, if you care at all about football, then this is personal, right? Which I don't mean it to be. It's just the logo, right? But I think truly it's a battle of good and evil. Like at the core, I know that that's wrong in my head, but that is how it feels morally. And also just like I can't handle. I think there's a little bit of battered fan syndrome from losing 9 straight. Like
100%.
I have the deepest rooted fear of like going back there. So maybe this
Yes.
week, because it's such a close game, which we'll get into, I just do not want to go back there because it's been. I feel like we need more time. We deserve more time. My entire
Yes,
growing up, we didn't beat them. Okay? So I feel like it's not time for us to hand it over to them yet. And I'm
100%.
terrified of it. So, okay. And I need every BYU football fan, I mean, BYU football player to understand that. Out of
Yes.
state, like this game, probably, oh, I don't know. I feel like it has the most emotional investment of any college football rivalry. Emotional
It,
investment. Because you have
yes.
religion, we live in each other's backyards. This one's nasty.
It's like, and people, as an Ohio State fan, okay, I get to say this, okay? As an Ohio State fan, the hatred that you have for Michigan is is near unrivaled in all of sports. They call Ohio State Michigan the greatest rivalry in all of sports, right?
Yeah.
Imagine, okay? Imagine for an instant that Ohio State and Michigan were 40 miles from each other. Ohio State and the University of Michigan are like 10 hours away. It is a long drive, okay? Imagine if you lived in each other's backyard. That is how nasty and vile and passionate and emotional and just the intimacy of the rivalry, like the passion of BYU Utah is the exact same as Ohio State Michigan. The only reason Ohio State Michigan is considered the better rivalry is because Michigan and Ohio State both have like 10 national
Yep.
titles, and
Yep.
BYU has the only national title. You better remember that, Kyle, in this rivalry, okay? But the passion is just escalated. Like the emotional investment, like you said, it is not matched because of how intimate this rivalry is. And like you said, growing up, losing nine straight, there absolutely is the fear of going back there. Like, it is inseparably ingrained in our souls that if we like just that inferiority complex of if we lose, then all of a sudden we are going to be back to when we were 10, 12, 15 years old, and there is absolutely nothing that we can say or do. There's no value in sports fandom if you do not beat your rival. And I am so terrified of going back there. I know that we haven't lost since 2019, but just even imagining a loss on Saturday feels like we would instantly go back to how it was before, where there's no value in being a sports fan, and college football is the worst sport on ever, and it's just doomsday scenario every single week.
Yeah, I can't do it. Do you think it would be better for you emotionally? I mean, you're going to be watching the game. Do you think there's a difference between watching it and being there?
I I would think so. I think it is much easier for me to emotionally divest myself from the game if something were to occur, which it will. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Utah's going to get a BS call. They're going to like throw a punch or like rip Bear's ear off from underneath his helmet, and the refs are going to be like, "Oh, that was illegal hands to the face on this guy on the backside of the play, 15 yards and a free turnover for Utah." And meanwhile, our guy's like missing two eyeballs and half a nose. Um, I I really don't know how I could do it going back into, because like you're going to be there, Eli,
Yeah.
and like everybody's going to be there, Katie and Kylie, Kevin. I really don't know how you guys are going to do it. The only time that I have been at a BYU game that we have won was 2007, 2009, and 2021. And all of those times, I was either like not even baptized or barely baptized. Like, I was very young, and then I was in the BYU student section. I don't know how I could do it just going with like normal people around me, maybe even Utah fans. So
Yeah.
I don't know, Jess. How do you feel about going to the game? Because I feel like that's crazy.
If I wasn't like sitting, if we didn't have our cohort of our vortex, you know,
Yes.
if we didn't have our vortex and I was just sitting around, with, I don't know, you take a chance that there are Utah fans or whatever, I'd feel worse, but I don't know. I almost feel like watching it would be worse. Because then you, like you said, you can't do anything about it. When you're at the stadium, I know you can't do anything about it, but you can pretend that you can do something about it. You can yell really loud, you know?
Yes.
You can kind of be the 12th man. So,
Very
we'll
true.
see. But I remember in 2021, like fresh off the mission, um, and I walked in and I came home from my mission like, no, I don't hate Utah anymore. I'm good. Like I've totally mellowed out. Like I love BYU, but I don't hate Utah as much as I did as a little elementary school kid. I have matured. God has cleansed me. And then I walked in and I vividly remember seeing Utah fans and I turned to Doug and I said, "Doug, it's coming back. This is bad. We're having it again." So that part of it's gonna be hard, but
Yep.
the environment of it and just like being there, I don't know, maybe yeah. It's and I saw something on Twitter, someone saying that there's gonna be like 30,000 Ute fans. That just shows how stupid Ute fans are. Can you do math? Can you do math?
I don't know about that one, Jim.
Yeah, I'd try again. Gosh. Anyways, so there won't be that many of them there, and it'll be loud and rowdy. I'm excited for that piece of it.
Yeah, it is going to be an absolute like electric doesn't even start to describe how that game is going to be. Big Noon Kickoff is going to be there.
Yeah,
Are you going to go? Are you going to
yeah.
go to the show in the morning?
Oh, yes. So, Doug, Ty, and I are going 8 to 10 a.m., when they do their whole thing
Let's
and whatever.
go.
Then we're going golfing. We're gonna go play 18. And
Perfect.
then we're gonna go to the game because last year BYU is 1-0 when Doug and I play 18 holes on game day. So we did it last year.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll
Let's
see.
keep it rolling.
Yep. Yep. Doing my part, like I said. Doing my part.
Yep, I absolutely love it. I think that's going to be very interesting. I might actually watch Big Noon Kickoff if it's at
Whoa.
BYU. I'm very interested to see how it goes with Portnoy having led the FBYU chants when Big Noon was at Utah a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. It'll be interesting to see the reception he gets. I don't think he'll be starting any sort of those chants
In
at the
Provo?
with the BYU crowd. It'd be very funny if he tried to start an F Utah chant, and I would just love to see the reaction. I just want to see what would happen.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be
It's
funny.
just him. Nobody else is following along.
Everyone's like, uh...
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
um, I think that's perfect that it comes. All right, we're back. Um, I have been rambling today. As you can tell, this Utah game has me just so out of sorts this week. I can't even get my thoughts straight. Jessa, I want to set the stage for this game. Is this, you know what? I'm just going to say it. This is not the biggest game of the season, okay? That might be a hot take to people. This
Ooh,
is
that is a
not the
hot
biggest game of
take.
the season. Yeah. This is the season. This is the entire season right now. I do not care about any other game on the schedule. If we win this game, BYU could lose by 400 points every single game the rest of the year. I would forfeit all six of our wins right now if we could win this game. I only care about beating Utah.
100% agree. 100% agree. We get this is the end of the season to me. Like
Hmm.
the 6 games before were preseason. This is the season. And then anything after is a bonus.
Right.
Great. Playoffs, Big 12. Don't even care.
Haven't
Don't
even
even
thought about
care,
it.
friend. Nope. Nope. Because it goes down to the root of our beings as BYU fans. Jacob asked a really good question. We had a couple questions from the chat. I'm actually gonna pull them up.
Yep.
Talking about the game, right? Let's get into the nitty gritty, like what we
Yeah.
expect to see. Because at the end of the day, yes, this is the Holy War, but also it's a football game. Like
Yeah.
BYU is gonna be
We're
playing a
only like
football game.
45 minutes in. We can get to what we were going
Yeah,
to talk about.
it's fine. It's fine. That's the price you pay, okay, for getting our deep analysis. One moment, let me pull up these messages. But Jacob asked the question, do we have a chance
That's a fair
at
question.
winning?
Fair question.
I think that that's a really good question. And there's always a chance. We'll talk about how big that chance is, right? And again, taking the emotion out of it, what do we need to do to win? Because at the end of the day, I love this Kalani quote. When emotion goes up, what does he say? Execution goes down, discipline goes down.
Yep.
So he says something like that,
I
right?
mean, both of them, honestly.
Yeah, they do. So, although at the same time, I'm like, I want the guys to want to win. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta like want to
Well,
win.
and they have to understand. I remember
Yeah,
last year I saw Tyler Algier in the cafeteria, and I was like, "Hey, big game this week," and he was like, "Oh my gosh, these guys need to understand how big this game is because I don't know if they do." And I was like, "Yes, thank you." Like, y- people on the team, you must understand. This means everything. This is literally like, and Kyle Whittingham knows this. He will always say that
yeah,
it's just another game, which he actually slipped up and said this is a rivalry game this week in his press conference.
yeah. Ooh, uh-oh,
Crazy
uh-oh. I
mistake.
think he said the rivalry game, meaning,
Whoa!
whoa. I thought he was confused at I thought he needed specificity when it says rival,
Right,
Colorado
right,
or the in-state game. So,
right. Yeah, this is just the in-state game, right? No, this is rivalry, Kyle. Okay, this means everything to him. That's why he hasn't retired yet. Is because he was going to retire last year. They sucked ass and they lost to BYU. So he's like, we can't go out on that. He's coming back. I think if he beats BYU, he's done. But we cannot let him win. Okay, you want to know too much already. We can't do it.
do you
All
think
right,
if
sorry,
wait, wait,
continue.
wait. Do you think if we win, he stays for another year?
Honestly, he's not going to retire without beating BYU one more time. I do not see it.
Interesting. Interesting.
It would
That
really
would be a
force
bet
his
line.
hand.
Maybe we should make another season bet. If BYU wins, does Kyle Whittingham retire or does he come back for another year? That's an
It's a
interesting
good bet.
thought.
That is a very interesting
Um,
thought.
that's very interesting. So, Jacob, we'll get into what we need to do to win here in a second. Another question. Jacob said, "What makes Utah so good and why are they murdering everyone they play?" They have not had a close game this year. They have won games by more 24 points or more, or they have lost games by 25 points. That's literally the story of their
That's
season.
crazy.
So it's weird looking at that at face value. It's like, what can you learn from that? And honestly, they've played a bunch of okay teams, like
Okay.
teams, and they've played one good team.
Okay.
So we see dominant performances, and then but Texas Tech is so far above everybody they played that we're missing this competitive middle half for
Which is
BYU
where
for
BYU
Utah,
falls, right?
which is exactly where BYU falls. So why they're murdering everybody they play except for Texas Tech is because those teams honestly aren't very good. They've faced the backup in 3 of their 6 games, okay?
Woo.
And then they've played Wyoming, they've played UCLA pre Sunshine,
Pre
okay?
Foster. Yeah, pre
Yep, pre
Sunshine.
Foster. They've played they've played West Virginia, all right, at home. Oh, away. Arizona State lost Sam Levitt. Um, like that's their, and then they played Cal Poly. So they've played nobody, and then one of the best teams in the country.
Hmm.
So Utah has, when you think about execution, right? We were just talking about BYU has not executed very well. We see their ceiling, we see their potential. They haven't even
Right.
gotten close to it, right? They keep
Right.
hanging out down here, which is really annoying. Um, Utah has hit their ceiling, I think, or gotten pretty close to their ceiling every single game, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Give or take a half against Wyoming, right? Like they have looked really good. So that's why I think Utah has killed everyone they played.
Well, and I think that's a great point because, like you said, they haven't played somebody on BYU's tier. BYU has played a couple of teams in that tier, I would venture, right?
Yeah.
Colorado, Arizona,
Yep.
that both meet that standard, and we've seen BYU be competitive in both of those games. We really don't know how Utah is going to respond when they play a team that is just as good as them. We saw what happens when they played Texas Tech, and they just got outclassed, and they had no answers. They couldn't do a single thing against Texas Tech to make that game competitive, except for do a dirty play on Baron Morton and take him out of the game, which was actually a bad thing for them.
Yeah.
Um,
Backfired. LOL.
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond when they play a team that can go tit for tat with them, that they can also go tit for tat with. So
Yes.
interesting
Yep,
matchup to watch.
exactly. Even the Arizona State, because the closest team to like a good team, a middle of the pack team that Utah has played is Arizona State,
Mhm.
a competent team, but they didn't have their 40% of their offensive production. And
Right.
so it's like, what do we learn? I don't know that we can really learn anything from them other than
No.
they did what they were supposed to do.
Right. Well,
Good
and
job.
and if you look at the stats, like they ran the ball what was it, 47 times?
Yeah,
They ran the ball 42 times and threw the ball 12 times.
yeah,
That's not, they didn't show a single thing. They were just like, you can't score on us, so we're just going to run the ball and get out of here before midnight. That was it.
yep. And they did. And it was a
Yep.
rain game too, right? And
Right.
so there was that effect in play. Um, yeah, they against going back to Utah against Texas Tech, right? You want to just guess how many explosive offensive plays of 10 or more yards that Utah had.
Oh, like one,
Three.
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 Wow.
No, no, no. This is not impressive, Jared. No. You were undershooting, so three is bad. That's 10 or more plays. So just to give you a frame of reference,
True.
um,
That's only 10 yards or more. That's not
guess
a
how
high bar.
many, yeah, guess how many Arizona State had against Utah last week? They lost by 30 points.
Oh, I want to hear
11.
this number. 11. And Utah
11.
only had three against
Only
Texas
had
Tech.
three. Yes, this is 10 or more yards. This is 10 or more yards, right?
Oh my gosh.
So that's how bad Utah played against Texas Tech. So do you see how like we just really don't know who these guys are?
Yeah. Right.
Like
There's no
we
data.
don't know.
No data.
Yeah, no data. However, I did a bunch of math this
Let's
week.
go.
All right. So, let me just pull up my little chart here. And this is what I sent and AJ said please translate to English. So, I am
Oh
going to
yes.
translate to English, okay? We're trying to predict how Utah is going to perform, and I'll get to BYU as well in a second. Okay, so here's how we do it. At least here's how I did it. You take the rankings
Okay.
of BYU and Utah's rush offense, rush defense, pass defense, scoring defense, yard per play, all of these things. Okay, all these metrics. You take the two teams' ranks,
Yep.
right? And their output. So, like, how many rushing yards do they rush for per game? How many
Right.
passing yards, right? Their efficiencies, all of that. And I'm going to walk you through an example. So, Utah, their rush offense is ranked number 8 in the nation. That's less important than what I'm going to say. They're going up against BYU's defense. Their rush defense is number 23 in the nation. BYU's
Okay.
is.
Okay.
So, let's look. Has Utah played anybody that is around 23 ranked, like that allows as many rush yards as BYU does? Their closest was Arizona State at
Okay.
ranked 30th. See how
Okay.
there's a little bit of a gap there?
Mhm.
And Utah rushed for 279 yards and put up 42 points,
Wow.
right? The points is less like there's a bigger gap between cause
Right.
and effect there.
Right. Right.
But that's the closest frame of reference we have.
Okay.
But then you bring in the context, right? So we can do the same thing for BYU's pass defense against Utah's pass offense. Utah's
Okay.
pass offense is ranked number 89th. They do not have a good pass offense. We knew that.
Woof.
Yeah, real bad. Um, BYU's defense ranks number 17th in pass defense.
Okay.
The closest frame of reference is UCLA. However, that's
Interesting.
UCLA as of week 7.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Week seven UCLA.
Utah threw for 206 yards
Okay.
against, right? So you look at that, and if you were to take 30 versus 25, they had 485 yards of total offense. But we got 23 and 17, right? So I'm estimating that Utah's going to be somewhere around 375 yards of total offense against
Okay.
us. That's what I'm
Okay.
estimating, right? Because we
Yeah.
can kind of take that. This is based on only what we know. Okay, then
Right.
you get into some really fun stuff like scoring offense. How many points is BYU allowing? They're number 12. The next closest is Texas Tech. Yards per play, next closest is Texas Tech. And then 10 plus yard plays, next closest is Texas Tech. So you go through all of these, and essentially where we're going is Utah is favored by 2 points as you walk through all of these. In my model,
Interesting. In
Utah is favored by 2.
Okay, so we have some market value against the spread here.
Yeah, right? But here's
Okay.
okay, so you look at these and then
Yeah.
you're like, what gives Utah the edge? Like
Right.
why are they only scored 10 against Texas Tech, which is the best closest frame of reference when it comes to yards per play and scoring offense. So like where do these 42 point games come from? Does that make sense? So it's like,
100%.
where are we getting this 2 point favored from a team who the only time they played a good game was against, they only scored, the only time they played a good team, they scored 10 points, right?
Right, right.
Here are the two factors that I think are going to decide this game. The first
Okay,
one is explosive plays.
okay.
If we hold Utah to less than 5 explosive plays, I think we win the game outright.
And
If
how
we
we
Go ahead.
determining explosives?
I'm
Is
saying 10
this
plus yards.
10 plus? Okay,
I'm saying, yeah, just like base 10 plus yards.
pass the
Like plays
sticks.
past the sticks. They get a first down in one play. Um we guaranteed win if we hold them again -5. Like that's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
I
I
love
think,
that.
yeah. If we have a better, like if we beat them in explosive plays, so like if we have 8, they have 5, we have 11, they have 8. I think
Yeah.
that gives us like a field goal, like it's a coin flip between a field goal, right?
Wow.
Um, because BYU's or Utah ranks number 40 in 10 plus yard plays, their offense, and then BYU's defense ranks number 13th in offensive plays allowed or explosive plays allowed. And then BYU's offense is also number 40, but Utah's defense is number 48.
Oh, so
So,
big difference.
anyways,
Big
big
difference
difference.
between how so our offenses are like exploding at the same rate, but our defense is much better at stopping explosive plays or disallowing them versus Utah's, which is far worse at defending explosives. Is that what you're
Yep.
saying?
Yep. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yep. So that's a big advantage, or at least a big opportunity I see for us. Something we do well, right? Versus what they. I watched a bunch of Utah film already. Like I said, it's Tuesday, and I've already watched both the ASU game and the Texas Tech game fully through. Um, and their offense is dink and dunk. Dink and dunk,
Oh,
Dampier
100%.
runs for 30. Dink and dunk, Dampier runs for 30. So that's the formula to me as I'm looking at these numbers. I'm gonna stop talking. What story does that tell you, and what other thoughts do you have about this matchup?
Well, that makes me wonder because you said like BYU's defense is really, really good against like number 13, you said, right? Against defending
Yeah,
explosives. And that checks out with what my eyes have told me through this short season. Like we haven't really given up a ton of explosive. I think the Arizona game might have been
that was
our
our
worst
worst one.
game against explosive, which obviously doesn't bode well. You don't want to have that the week before. Um, but we're just chalking
Wait,
that up to a rain game, so it doesn't
okay,
matter,
wait. Can
right?
we it up to something else too? Something interesting.
Yes, yes, please, yes, please.
Their first pass play, right over into the corner, right? Their first pass touchdown, I should say, that was explosive.
Oh, yep.
That's over number 15 Beasley, backup safety. Second touchdown, another pass play over number 29, whatever his bucket is. I can't remember what his name is, and
Dunlap.
I don't want to remember. I
Oh,
don't.
sorry,
I'm just
sorry,
kidding.
sorry.
I'm just kidding. Um, third string corner. Okay,
Mhm.
two missed tackles on the run, one of which was our backup linebacker, Ciale Sarah, which actually was our leading tackler and is our leading tackler actually right now.
Oh,
But
interesting.
I'm just saying, 3 touchdowns scored on 3 backups. All 3 of those positions, we will have starters back for the Utah game.
So I guess that transfers me into my next thing because Jack Kelly, expect him back.
Yep,
Let's
he could have
go.
he could have played in the Arizona game, is what they were saying. But it
Really,
quote didn't make sense to risk getting his shoulder worse, making his shoulder worse. Code,
AKA, we want to beat Utah.
yes. AKA we don't want him to be out for Utah, so we're gonna give him another week of rehab. And also his backup is pretty dang good. He's not as good, obviously, like it's Jack Kelly, but okay, did you have a continued thought on that?
Well, I mean, that was part of my thought is that if we have Jack Kelly back, if we are healthy, I think we stand a very good chance of stopping their explosive plays. I think we showed, for the most part, against Arizona, that our starting DBs are pretty good. Like Evan Johnson, I thought played pretty well. I think the scheme, like we dropped eight a bunch, and so when you drop into zone, you can't really like what's the word? You can't like grade a defensive back's performance super well in zone. Like you can't say a corner was good or bad when they're dropping into zone the whole time. Like you can, but it's very different from man. I think if we want to beat Utah, we're gonna have to play man coverage. And I think that's okay given, like I said, Maury Bamba, Evan Johnson, Terry Alexander. I think they played really well against Arizona. Obviously, we saw in the overtime, they put the entire game. They were like, all right, let's go press man. And Evan Johnson was locked
Finally,
up. Yeah. And it worked. And it worked. And none of Utah's receivers scare me. Devin Dampier is not a quarterback. This man is a running back. He cannot throw the football. We saw what happened when he tried to throw the football against Texas Tech, and he was an absolute clown. This guy was the freaking Pennywise from Dairyville, but with like freaking granny chompers and freaking this guy's a bum, okay? He's only a running back. He can only run the football. And I think you get Jack Kelly, you get Isaiah Glasker, you put a safety down in the box. I don't think I I don't care what Utah does. They're not going to move the ball on us through the air. So
not
play
through the
man
air.
coverage, load the box, have run integrity, have your big fat guys on the line just plug up holes, set the edge, do your 111th. That's what the run game is all about, is just do your job. And I think if we do that, I mean, for me, that's the matchup to watch is the BYU defense versus the Utah offense, and specifically in the run game. And like you said, if we can just stop those Dampier skitters through the hole and bust a 40-yarder, I think we stand a good chance of stopping their offense.
Agreed. That brings me to so you talk about the run game, right? Utah, 89th graded pass offense, right? And yet somehow they're number 8 in uh, rush offense. But guess who their leading rusher is?
Hmm.
Not a running back. No, no, no. No, no, it's their quarterback, which that was Jake Retzlaff last year, right? And
Hmm.
we were not a very good rushing team at the time. Like we just weren't. So
Yep.
when your quarterback doesn't have astronomical yards and yet he's your leading rusher, it's just weird to me. But you brought up the run game is going to be something to watch. So there's all this, and we talk about different position groups. So I actually did an analysis on every position group and the matchups.
Okay.
Um,
I'm very
and
excited for this.
yeah, I'm actually going to share my screen on this one. Let me just pull it up to make sure I have it. But we hear a lot about Utah's rushing. Oh no, O line, right?
Yep.
Let me
Supposedly
show
the
you.
best in the country.
And it is in one respect. In one respect, I will show you.
Okay.
Right here. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen right here. Okay, here's all my data. This is thanks to PFF. So this is not my ratings. I'm pulling from the professionals, right? The rate, the performance, and the production of each player. So this is really like a talent composite, honestly, a
Hmm.
production composite. So if you look at on the left right here is all of BYU or Utah's position groups, and then the corresponding BYU position groups that they'll be playing. Because I saw a bunch of people like comparing Devin like Dampier and Bear, and I'm like they're not on the field at the same time. So one
Right.
being better than the other really doesn't
It's
matter,
stupid.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing like left tackle versus the D end that'll stack up
Nice.
against him. Okay.
Nice.
So look at you notice how the green is like where Utah is better than BYU, right? Is
Okay.
where like a player is better. They grade better in a certain area. Notice that there's only one sweep. Like the Utah center is the only one that has better ratings in every single area as our than our nose tackle, right? And it's because it's Keanu, and Keanu hasn't done shite this year except get
100%.
two
Well,
15-yard personal fouls.
yes, he's done stupid things.
Yep. Yep. Utah's secret agent, the streets are saying. Anyways, okay, look at this. So this overpowering O line only has one. Oh, there's two clean sweeps. Anyways, look at these ratings. All right, really good in one area consistently. You've got pass blocking at 89.5. That's really good. 75.6 pass blocking, but run blocking not as good. Look at this. 76.4 pass blocking, run blocking abysmal.
Oh,
And then you've got Spencer Fano, who's rated highly in both areas. But they're really good. They're not allowing very many sacks. Now let's take a look at that. Why do you think that
Hmm.
might be? Why do you think that
I,
might be? They're not very good when they actually have to run block for their running back. Oh, but when Dampier eludes tacklers and is running, right? Well, the Utah O line gets credit for not allowing a sack or not allowing a
huh.
pressure, right? So, anyways, I think that Spencer Fano is legit, but I'm really not scared of the rest of the O line, um, in pass blocking situations.
Right.
Well, no, sorry, in run blocking situations. I am scared of our ability to rush the passer because we suck at that, and
Right.
Utah is good at that. If you see
Right.
what I'm saying, basically.
Right.
Um,
Which is going to put more onus on our DBs and our
yes.
scheme, right? Because that means we're not going to get pressure with four. We're going to have to bring
Hmm.
extra guys, which is going to put more pressure on our DBs, which means if they're in man or even if they're in zone, they're going to have to lock down, especially on all the quick hitting routes that Utah's going to run because they can't throw the ball down the field. It's like me with
Exactly.
Kennesaw State. You can't throw the ball past the sticks because your quarterback sucks monkey nuts. And that's kind of where Utah's at. I'm very,
Yep.
very interested in this matchup. Like this is kind of the like everybody is looking at this as the game, right? In a whole is this one matchup between Utah's offense and BYU's defense. But there is the other side, right? Which I think my brain is not thinking about because I'm so scared of it. It is the
Yeah.
Utah defense versus the BYU offense. Now Utah's defense like ooh, it's been years and years and years. This is like Utah's whole thing is they have this great defense. I'm not 100% sold on Utah's defense this year. I don't think they're as good as they have been in the past. They're not as scary as they have been. They played really well against Joe Sims and the like 1940s plumbers that Arizona State was running out there without Sam Levitt. Poor Jordan Tyson, bro. That was rough for him.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, the completion percentage was like 40% or 30% for Arizona State in that game. Um, I'm just worried. Like the Utah defense doesn't scare me, but our offense does scare me. I because in this game, like let's be honest, as we kind of like move towards like keys to the game and stuff, like in order to win this game, obviously the defense is going to have to stop the run. We've been talking about that for the past 15 minutes. Our offense is going to have to be the aggressors in this game. We cannot rely on our defense to go be the aggressors. Our offense has to be the aggressors. If you look at this with like any sort of game theory or game scripting, like the way that you force Utah to use their running back as a quarterback, like he's mislabeled on the roster, is you have to get a lead in the game. You have to go up by a score, two scores, three scores. Like you have to be the aggressor on offense. We cannot start slow. We have to start fast. We have to put together big drives where our defense gets a rest because if we're not going to give up explosives, we're going to be giving up 3 yards in a cloud of dust all night long. And our offense needs to give our defense a break. So you're going to need to run the football. You're going to need to create explosives in the pass game, and you're going to need to not turn the ball over bare. Um,
Yep.
I mean, what do you think about the offense? Because, like I said, I'm a little worried.
Utah, I'm with you that they have a good defensive scheme. I don't think they have the talent that they've had in years past. That being said, John Henry Daly, the Utah transfer from BYU that we lost, I don't even know. I don't know what the story is behind that. Um, he's double, triple team him all night. Force somebody else to beat you because that dude is legit. He's got 8 sacks on the year. He's an amazing, amazing pass rusher. He's got a 91.8 pass rushing grade. And I mean, he's ranked number 18 in the whole nation for defensive players, as far as PFF rankings go. Um, so they've got him, right? And honestly, that's the only matchup that I'm super, super worried about. But I've watched Utah games and I've watched him change games.
Mm,
So that would be the number one thing is stopping because he also rushes from the right side a lot. Or, well, he's on the right side, so it's our left side, so it's
our
Bears
left
blind
side.
side. Yeah, so it's Bears blind side. So Bear's gonna have to get the ball out quick, I think, this game. Make quick decisions, make easy reads. I tell my eighth graders all the time, like just make the easy pass. Like if
Mhm.
no pass is too easy, right? I think that Bear just needs to make good reads. But I think that LJ, if they don't stack the box on him, which they might,
Yeah,
LJ should do pretty well. We have the position advantage there too.
for sure. And I think that's,
So
I mean, one of the two ways that you slow down a pass rush is you run the football and you, unfortunately, use draws and screens, which we all hate and A-Rod loves. And you were saying all that about quick, easy reads, fast complete, quick completions, get the ball out of his hand fast. Unfortunately, that means we're probably going to see a lot of screen passes.
yep.
Um, we have to take advantage of those and slow down that pass rush. We have to establish the run. Bear has made it this far without getting injured, and we keep saying like you can't run him 22 times or he's going to get injured. He made it to the Utah game. Now is
Yeah.
when you empty the tank. Now is when you run him 25 times. Like,
Yeah.
do whatever the frick you need to in order to score the football because our defense is going to do a good job, but our offense is going to need to score. And like I said, that is the matchup that I'm not as focused on, and probably because it scares me the most.
Well, speaking of that, do you want to hear a stat about another one where okay, so we talked about explosive plays. That's an advantage for us, right? An
Mhm.
opportunity to take advantage for us. Now let's talk about a major advantage that Utah has. Um, Utah has had 29 red zone trips. Do you want to guess how many of those they converted to touchdowns?
Oh, I heard this today. It's a
Oh, you
lot, isn't
did.
it? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's very many.
it's 25 touchdowns. They've scored 28 of those. So like they had 3 field goals and 25 touchdowns. BYU has also had 29. Do you want to
Oh
guess how many
no, I don't want to
touchdowns?
know.
Guess. How many touchdowns do you think we have?
15?
Close. 17.
Hey, that's better than I thought. That's
Yeah!
not good,
Woohoo!
but that's
That's not
better
good.
than I thought.
Not good. Utah's ranked number 8 in the nation. We're number 48. Um,
Oof.
and so I looked at it. Okay, has Utah just played easier opponents? No. The average rank of the Utah opponent red zone touchdown allowed is 36, and for BYU it's 42. So we've actually played worse opponents when it comes to that. So to your point, we either need to keep Utah out of the red zone,
Yep.
okay, or or we need to go 100% on touchdowns, and you just
Yes.
got to score a lot of points, preferably both.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the deal: if we get to the third quarter and we are 2 for 4 on red zone trips, or
Two for four
two for
touchdowns.
five, yeah, 2 for 4 touchdowns, touchdowns.
Yes,
So
touchdowns.
I know we're gonna try and go for it when we should take a field goal and not get it. I'm just factoring that in.
Factor it in. Yep.
Yeah, just factoring that in. We get to the third quarter and we're down by 10. You've got to mentally in your brain say, we got to do something amazing to come back because this game is lost right now. Like, we have
Yep.
not done enough at this point in the game to win. Same thing with explosive plays. If we've allowed 6 explosive plays and we've only had 4, or we're tied at explosive plays and you get to the end of the third quarter and we're down, you've got to think we have to do something. Something has to change in order for us to change this game. The likelihood of us winning is lower. That's going to be my mental preparation for the game, is just thinking, okay, what do the stats look like? Okay, well, we didn't do enough to win, obviously. Like
Yeah.
that's just 1 + 1 = 2, right? Or
Take the
we are
emotion
doing
out of
enough
it.
to win. Yeah. So that's my thought of like what I'm looking for, and I'm literally gonna keep a tally during the game. I'll keep you updated.
Thank you. Yes, I will be. I'll
Yep.
be very, very interested in that. Just as we kind of wrap up here, what do you even like? Obviously, like we hope BYU wins. We think BYU, there is a path to victory for BYU. And I mean, we've detailed it this entire time. Like it's no use going over keys. We've given you all the keys. Score touchdowns in the red zone, stop the run, limit explosives. You have to create your own explosives, slow down the pass rush, stop the run again. Um, what like what is your mental state as we kind of we're mentally processing all of this? How are you going into this game emotionally, mentally? Where are you at?
Oh man. So this whole recording has kind of been therapeutic. I've
It really
been just
has.
looking at stats for the last 48 hours and trying to make some sense of them and in as non-biased a way as possible. Here's how I'm feeling, Jared. Cougs by 40! By
Yes.
40! I'm telling you, listen, I'm going into that stadium and I'm thinking to myself, we are going to win this game by 3 scores. That's until I'm proven wrong, we are winning this game by 3 scores because stats don't mean shite.
Yep.
Okay? It's
Yep.
all about the Cougs on the field on Saturday.
Oh
Okay?
my gosh.
That's how I feel.
I absolutely love that. I love that, Jessa. That is the energy that we need to finish out this podcast. The head coach of the Falcons always says stats are for losers. So we are going to defy all the maths, all the numbies. We are going to win this football game. Um, I'm going into this game. I'm with you. I want to believe. I want to be Ted Lasso and just slap that believe sign up there in order to keep myself mentally and emotionally and physically safe. Okay,
Good. Good.
right? Self care
Mm-hmm.
Saturday is what it's going to be if we win
Yep.
or lose. Actually, yeah, I'm not going to go there. So I'm going in. This is college football. This is a rivalry game. I don't care who the better team is. I don't care what the game looks like at any point during the game. I, as an Ohio State fan, have seen my team for the last 4 years go into the game as by far the better team. Double digit favorites in like three of those games. Should not even have been close, and yet we lost every single game. Okay? I watched Georgia Auburn. Okay? No one even knows this is a rivalry because it doesn't matter. But a rivalry game, Auburn was maybe like a rat's butt hair away from going up 17-0. One thing happens, boom, they lose 20-10. They don't even sniff the end zone again that entire game and they lose. College football is so unpredictable. It is so momentum based and emotion driven. And these freaking 18-year-old kids are idiots and can't execute at a consistent level. Anything can happen. And I'm going in with that mentality. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. That's not going to let me be overly confident. It's not going to let me be overly pessimistic either. No matter what happens, both teams are going to be alive in the game until the very end. I went to bed at halftime last year because it was 20-10 or 21-10 at halftime. Utah didn't score again, and BYU won the football game on a last second field goal. Anything can happen at any point in the game. It is not over. BYU is not dead. Utah sure as hell ain't dead at any point in that game. I'm just going in there. I want a win very badly, but I understand that anything in the entire world could happen in this game.
Couldn't be more true. Eh, Yep. That's why I think these next 4 days are just gonna go by so slow, but it's a good thing that we have football every night to keep us tided
Yes.
over. Here's the other thing I will say. There will be a poll coming out soon. Um, Call it a therapeutic pregame poll, okay?
I love
Courtesy of
that.
Elliot. I'll be distributing it, but Elliot is the mastermind behind it. Talking, let's get some emotions out about different outcomes of the game. Because like you said,
Okay.
nobody has any idea what's going to happen. So we're going to emotionally react to several different outcomes, and then we're going to bring the results together and bond over it. And so then by the time that the game comes, we'll just be that much more mentally and emotionally prepared for whatever crap happens on the field.
That is a fantastic exercise, and I'm very much looking forward to that. I think that will help me greatly in every aspect of my life this week.
Mm-hmm. Same. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs, baby. I could not say a harder go Cougs. I hate Utah. I hate their fans. I hate their program. I hate their facilities. I hate the air that they breathe. I hate their mountains. I hate their colors, their logos. I hate the crap they flush down the toilet. I hate Kyle Whittingham. I hope BYU wins this game by 1,000 million points. I hope Kalani sits on Kyle Whittingham's face at the end of the game. He won't because he's too nice, but maybe he trips and Kyle Whittingham's face just sneaks up his butt. I love football and I love BYU and I want to beat Utah so bad. We've been saying it for like 2 hours now, but I just had to get it out one more time.